Up on jack stands, yet again. Why is my race car always broken? Oh yeah, I remember now. Well guys, it's always a sad day when the Supra's up on stands, but it's time for some winter love. End of last season, I had a pretty bad clunk coming from the rear end when I was turning left or right. I thought it was a CV axle originally, but it's a little bit more of a snap than a CV click. I swapped out the CVs already, and that never changed anything. I was lucky enough to have a friend that had a Toyota Aristo with the same axles. He let me try them. They didn't work. I gave them back. So I think something's going on in the rear end. The rear diff gear oil was pretty new, probably only a couple thousand K on it. I did pull the plug and no real shrapnel, so to speak, but a couple little chunks in there. So I think I am gonna find something internal with that rear torsion locker. Usually they're pretty good, but this one's seen a lot of drifting, decent amount of track days. So it's seen some abuse, and it is pushing 750 wheel. So it's getting up there, and it's time for some maintenance, I guess. If I do find an issue with that torsion locker, we're gonna be doing an Oiskaiken or a Kaz clutch style locker. They're supposed to handle a lot more abuse. And the car is pretty old. It's starting to show its age a bit. So while I have the diff out, we'll be doing some rear subframe bushings because they're rubber style in there right now from factory, and they're starting to get old and cracked. So here's the rear diff. And the mounts for the rear diff go through the rear subframe here. And you can see the rubber is starting to deteriorate pretty bad on that right side. Starting to crack. It's not looking good. This side's not as bad, but we'll be doing it as a pair. And then there's two on the front as well. Those guys there. Getting rid of this rubber style bushing in the back and doing something more solid like a poly. It's really going to help with wheel hop. And wheel hop is definitely not good on driveline components. It's hard on axles. It's hard on everything. This car did have quite a bit of wheel hop when I'm trying to launch it, especially on the street. The drag slicks do help a lot with wheel hop as well. But if we can completely eliminate wheel hop, we're going to get a lot better times at the track. And it's going to hook, and it's just going to be smooth and better all around. And at the end of the day, smooth is fast. That's what wins races. So originally I wanted to just pull the rear diff cover and look inside, see if I could see any damage. But unfortunately, we have to pull the whole diff out because the mounts are part of that rear diff cover and they go into the rear subframe. But it's not as bad as it looks. So you just have the CV axles here, mounts on the front, drive shaft obviously, and this whole thing should fall out towards the front of the car. So let's get to it. So just got the CV axle fasteners out. They are Allen keys, number 10. And no pressure or anything, but this grate is a pit to nowhere. And that grate is seized into the ground. Like, it's so rusty and old. It's probably been there for 30 years. This is an old house. And I've literally tried to lift that with the engine hoist and cleaned all the rust off around the edges. Like, that's just part of the ground now. It is not coming off. So no pressure, but if I drop anything under there, it's gone. It's not coming back. And I was thinking, I'm lucky I'm not using a 10 mil socket. But then I realized my Allen key's a 10 mil. Guys, wish me luck. This might not end well. I do have that guy as a little bit of a backup, but while I'm rolling under there on the creeper, I can't really have that there because it's right where I'm working. So hopefully no 10 mils will be lost in the making of this video. Wish me luck. So just got this guy on the ground. And yeah, these bushings are pretty much toast. They're old. And yeah, we will be going with a poly bushing. So there's two styles you can get, a solid or a poly. And the poly ones are supposed to perform almost just as good as the solid bushings, but you won't get a lot of the road noise because this is attached right to the diff. You're gonna get the gear noise and just operating noise resonating through the cab if you go with a full solid bushing. So the poly should help eliminate that, and it'll be a lot better condition than these worn out rubbers. Yeah, look at that. They're toast. And the subframe ones are even worse. You already seen those. So like I said earlier, the reason I was pulling this diff to check it out is I had a pretty good snapping noise coming from the rear end. Usually when turning left or right didn't really make a difference. And I already tried swapping out the CVs. My preload is good on that pinion. But I do feel, you can't tell on the video, but I do feel almost a little click in this left axle that I don't notice in the right. And when it was in vehicle, it did sound like that left CV. So I think I am gonna find something inside. Let's bust open this rear case and check it out. What's behind door number 1? No real shrapnel. Nothing too noticeable on first glance. So this is a torsion style diff. This is pretty much gear on gear, no clutches, anything like that. It's hard to see in there right now, but like I said earlier, I'm gonna pull this left axle and maybe something with this bearing on this side, giving me that click and snap noise. But when we have the axles out here, we'll pull the carrier and take a really good look too. So see what we find. So a quick tip coming apart here. I thought these bearing cups would
just
come
give
out
these
with the
axles
axles
a little
pretty
tap
easy
with a hammer.
but make sure you pop the axles out first.
And the only thing
These
holding
cups
them in
kinda
is this
get in the
little
way while you're
C-clip
trying to get-
here.
And that goes into the carrier. So nothing to it. So I got the full carrier out. Nothing really left in there besides the pinion and the pinion bearings. They're nice and smooth. Nothing going on there. No chunks out of the teeth or anything. I gave her a little clean. And I'm not seeing much on that end. I gave this spray down just with some brake clean to get rid of some of the oil and stuff. You can't really see much inside this carrier because it is kind of fully enclosed. The only things that come off are the ring gear and your side bearings. Don't really see anything noticeable. There are a couple pieces in there that look like they have some wear. Like right in the center between those two torsion gears. There's some pieces in there that are really shiny, and a couple of them don't look like they're aligned anymore. I think something let go in this carrier. So I can put the side axles in here. And it's still locking, but I can't really put much load with my hands. But if I put both axles in and kind of torque on it, I can almost feel a click inside this carrier. So I think that's where my click's going to be coming from. So taking a closer look,
Unfortunately,
I can actually see a little bit of damage on the inside.
I'll try and get you.
It's always fun seeing something broken, but you can see a little chunk missing out of this tooth. Try and zoom in on it. Yep, there it is. Chip, little crack there. So the internal torsion gears on this definitely have some damage, and it's not going to be repairable. So lucky enough, we did catch it before anything catastrophic happened. No damage to the exterior ring gear or pinion. So we'll just be doing a locker, and that's going to fix our snapping noise. So I can pretty much guarantee that's definitely going to be my snapping noise. And I can only see a small portion of these gears. There's probably other gears with a little bit of damage as well. So that's comforting, finding something. So we'll get her fixed up, and the quest for 9s, here we come. And let's just have a moment of silence for the fallen 10 mil. Gone but not forgotten. Well, I want to keep this video short, so we'll end it here. Rear diff bushings came in. I'm just kidding, guys. They look pretty good.
Lost in the making of this.
I'm going to be waiting about a month or so for that Oaskaiken locker to come in. So we'll make 2 separate videos, one for the bushings, one for the locker install, and we'll leave it at that. Peace out, guys.